Hey folks, back with another video. In this video, I am going to do a SWOT analysis of candidate Bernie Sanders. Let's dive in. Now, what are some of the strengths of Bernie Sanders? He has a political experience, which in his case is generally a good thing. He has, compared to others, the least amount of controversy. Plus, he has been in the public eye, and the general view of the public of him is generally positive, not too much negative as a person. On top of that, he has run for the presidency in 2016, and so he also has built a structure which allows him to operate freely, to concentrate on his program. He has a strong grassroots movement, he which he inherited from 2016, and this grassroots movement gives him a momentum going into this election. Now, the Bernie Sanders campaign has also got a strong online presence, passionate supporters spreading his message on his behalf. And all of this combined has given him a lead in the polls. And of course, Mr. Sanders has moved the Democratic Party to the left, closer to his vision for the party and the priorities of the party. So, what are his weaknesses? His health is his biggest weakness at this stage. There's nothing more to add here. Project Veritas has done, let's just say, the most damage to his campaign thus far, and this will come back to haunt him in the future. His constant identification with socialism or democratic socialism is another thing that I consider to be his weakness, especially because he's just not able to differentiate between the Nordic free market welfare states with the Soviet Russia and the socialist Venezuela. And that will continue to hurt him because as some of his opponents would say, that he can't tell these two kind of systems apart. Of course, the fiscal conservatives will be always against him. I mean, because they will always be looking at the actual cost of his proposed plan. I mean, they're not going to be the biggest weakness, but they will, let's just say, do small cuts here and there, and you know that's still a weakness. I mean, maybe eventually they could build up enough, let's say, enough of a hole into his whole program that it could tumble his whole candidacy and his whole campaign. On top of that, Bernie Sanders has shown that he, he just cannot stand up for himself. I mean, from what I've observed of him is that if push comes to shove, he just backs down. He cannot handle conflict well, and this is evidenced by the fact that two of his rallies, were clearly hijacked, and that he lost complete control. So, are there any opportunities he can use to his advantage? I think so, especially since the Democratic field will start to, let's say, lose some candidates as their campaign cannot operate anymore. And this would release those, let's just say, potential voters who were attached to a particular candidate for him to court them and make them make them vote for him. Another thing that's going for him is that the moderates are divided. They have not coalesced around any particular candidate, thus giving Bernie Sanders, let's just say, a free rein to operate without much, let's just say, a pushback. I mean, he is the favorite amongst the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. And of course, Bernie Sanders has he can muster in as much endorsements as he can, and he is gonna gun for those endorsements as much as he can. These are his opportunities that will bolster his campaign. So, what are the threats to his candidacy? And I believe on this side he does have a lot. Beginning with, he has employed revolutionary socialists. I mean, he's put them on his payroll. This is something that the Project Veritas has exposed. And if there are any more that get exposed, if we go forward, I mean, the numbers that have already been exposed are enough, but any more in his campaign is going to take a big hit, maybe a major hit. Of course, recently there has been a brawl in his rally, and it was a minor one, but if his rallies continue to have a brawl in them, if there's fighting, actual physical fighting inside his rally, then he will, of course, take a hit on his, let's just say, reputation, and his campaign and his movement is gonna get hurt because of that. Any more future rally hijacks are just not, it's, he cannot afford to be consistently just bullied by any of his, let's just say, supporters like this again and again. He cannot blame these people as Russian agents when they are living and breathing in America and they are identifying with him. I think Elizabeth Warren is also a potential threat to Bernie's campaign, especially if she starts surging out of, it is possible, though unlikely, but if she does surge in any way, that will definitely cut into Bernie Sanders' potential voters. Of course, if the media attacks Bernie Sanders, then his campaign is also could be in danger. Especially, I think they have enough material to hit him with, mm, let's say, moderately seriously at this stage. And one such thing that they could do is bring this FBI investigation that, let's just say, it's not in the awareness of the public at large. And the final threat is, of course, Trump. He is truly a known unknown. This is everybody. He's a threat to everybody, but especially to Bernie, because with Bernie, he's going to present himself as the capitalist and Bernie as the socialist, and he's just going to bring this as the fight of the century. Now, all of this is based on my views and what I have observed and read about over the years. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.